Aline is saying, since I know the power of our thoughts, I can be very afraid of my negative ones, to the point where I get pretty obsessive about not thinking something specifically scary, which obviously only makes it worse. Yes, indeed. She says, it's like not trying to think about a pink elephant. My obsession and fear then creates more fear about manifesting the negative thing. Any advice to break this cycle? Beloved ones, because we address each and every one of you right now, all of you are addicted to fear in different ways. All your limitations, whatever they might be, are based in fear. Your self-judgment is based in fear. People might say, why? Because you are afraid you are not good enough, and so you judge yourself. A fear that others will not accept you, or a fear that people will see who you really are, instead of this personality that you project out into the world. So you are all addicted to fear, to a greater or lesser extent. And Eileen is very courageous, saying this about herself. And that is beautiful, because it also means you are ready to let go of this obsessiveness around fear. Because as you have already said, when you focus on fear, it makes it worse. Why? Because if you are in the void, which you are always in the void, your thoughts and your feelings are reflected back to you by the void. So if you start focusing on fear, thinking fearful thoughts, then in a moment, they are reflected back to you, and more fearful thoughts come. More ideas that make you afraid. So you are all in charge, in control. Move into your conscious awareness. And then, from that place, just recognize, this is an addiction. I no longer need to be like this. And for many of you that are strongly addicted to fearful thoughts, very often they were programmed into you whilst you were still in the mother's womb. And you have amplified those fears as you have grown up and become an adult. Because if you have a fearful thought, you create a fearful situation. And without awareness, that fearful situation will make you think more of fear. And the more you think of fear, the more fearful situations you create. They are reflections so that you can bring your awareness to say, no, no more. And start focusing on joy. Start focusing on love. Start focusing on gratitude. And this will change your energy. Whenever fear comes up, stop. Focus on one of these other energies. It will raise your vibration, and it will start to dissolve this addiction to the fear. But we would strongly suggest doing some inner child work, Eileen.
Indeed. And we wish to share a concept this one Julianne has recently become aware of, which is rather than avoiding any feeling that feels difficult, when you avoid it, you kind of push it over there and create a subtle tension. I feel this, I do not wish to feel this. Create a third point Create a merging of these opposites. It is not to dwell in the pain. No, not at all. But you could actually visualize running toward those feelings, embracing them with the love of oneness, not rejecting and judging self for having these fears, but imagining your superconscious self running full force and diving. Because with that merging of your awareness with the fear, there can be a kind of liberation that occurs, because you will realize you do not have to actually be afraid of the fear. When you stop that subtle level of tension, you can recognize the multi-layered impacts that this tug of war is having on your psyche. And you can ask yourself this powerful question: what is this reminding me of? So often, there is an inner child who needs to be loved underneath it all. So do not run from what you judge as low frequency. If you think of the part of yourself that is feeling that frequency as one point, and you think of the super ego who is not wanting to feel that frequency as another point, we say to you, create a third point, which is pure awareness, watching the whole show.